So I'm going to go into one of my bronze tournaments and just kind of show you what team I'm running with that's been pretty successful. So I'm going to go into a past one and we'll pick a recent one. Sometimes I crash here too. And I don't know if you guys are able to see this on your tournaments, your previous tournaments, but I never get my results. I just show it as being finished. I don't know if that is a glitch or if it's a setting in the game, but I see some of you when you post screenshots, it says winner or it says second place. Mine just says finished. All right, let me go and find a recent tournament. We'll go 299. 299. These fill up real quick, guys. If you don't play bronze tournaments, maybe you want to try starting them. They generate really quickly. They play out really quickly. Within half an hour, 45 minutes, the tournament is over or close to being over. But you kind of need the right roster. Any roster can win at any time in this game. But you can craft a really good roster over time if you have the cards and if you have a little bit of perfect points to buy some of the cards. All right, so let's click on the results here. How did I do? Whoa, look at that. So Gorgo said that he's won a few tournaments recently. The Rocky Mountain Gladiators. I think this is the first time I've gone undefeated in a tournament. And the Wood Ducks met me in the final. So if you want to get involved in bronze tournament, to all the new players out there, highly recommended. They're free. You don't have to pay anything. All you have to do is assemble a team of cards that are bronze, 69 or lower. It can be anything from 40 to 69 to assemble your team. These are double elimination. So everyone starts off on the very far left-hand side. When you lose a game, you move to the right side of the bracket. And if you lose a second game, you're out of the tournament. Good news is you get to enter another one. As soon as you're eliminated, you do not have to wait until the tournament is over. You can enter another tournament once you're eliminated. And yeah, B Mauler, 47 tourney wins, but you enter so many all day long. It is a grind. It really is. You just constantly. And then you leave the room and you see that 2 teams have been eliminated and you enter and enter and enter. And eventually you'll have some success and you'll win some of them. But you have to put the sweat, the blood, sweat, and tears into it to become successful. I do not think there's anyone out there that wins every tournament they're in. In fact, I know that. It's impossible because of the random generated aspect of the game. So the Gladiators, they went on a streak here. You can look at the tournament coverage in each round. 10-1, I beat the Mall Rats. Round 2, beat the Fighting Lions 6-4. Quarterfinals, I beat the Wood Ducks 6-5. Semis, beat Colorado Tommy Knockers 5-2. And then I met back up with the Wood Ducks. So when I beat the Wood Ducks the first time, it was their first loss. They went over to the right-hand bracket. They won 2 games, which put them in the finals. So yes, double elimination for the bronze tournaments. All right, let's take a look at who I'm running here. One thing I recommend is enter a few tournaments, just whatever. Use any cards. Just use any cards that are eligible and enter a couple tournaments. Then go back in once it's over and analyze a little bit of the data. Some people will download the data and put them in spreadsheets. And although these tournaments are so short, I don't know if that data would be viable. You would need hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of games to get accurate data. I go by the feel of it. I go by intuition and how players have done in the tournament. So I look at the leaderboards and I go, okay, Dave Kingman Dave Kingman looks pretty good. Slugging percentage. Joey Gallo's up here a couple times. Woody Held, Gorman Thomas, I see. Chris Davis. So if you open up 3 or 4 or 5 tournaments that you play in, look at the pitchers, look at the hitters, see which ones have done well, see who the common names are, and see if you can get them on the card shop. So you go to the card shop and you say, hey, Paul Molitor looks like a stud in these tournaments. Oh, he's 176 points. Fairly reasonable. You go and buy him and you stick him on your tournament team. Right now for my hitters, this is the hitting team that won this tournament here. I got Brian Downing and Ernie Witt as my 2 catchers. Ernie Witt, I think, is a meta bronze catcher. He's a catcher a lot of people use in these tournaments. And right now on the card shop, you can get him for 110 perfect points. That is a good deal. So I highly recommend you get Ernie Witt for a catcher. First base, I'm using Joey Gallo. Joey Gallo hit 261 in this tournament. I like power and eye, like a lot of people do. I'm not the first to say that. I won't be the last to say that. Many of the really good modelers out there, many of the good tournament players like power and eye. And Joey Gallo, let me tell you, he's got power and eye. That's for sure. Thank you, Brew Hendon, for the follow, and Mr. Another French name, Mr. Bienvenue. Bonjour. Comment ça va? Sounds like a French name there. So thank you for the follow. And Joey Gallo, I recommend that you get on the card shop. You can pick him up for, well, he's not listed right now because he's probably pretty popular, but about 120. So no one is currently looking to buy or sell Joey Gallo. That's strange for a bronze card. You can also toggle off cards that you own. If you own a card, it'll be in green. If you don't want to rebuy it by accident, just click hide cards that I own. Really good feature to the card shop. Next up on this winning team from this tournament, I've got Mark DeRosa. I like a little bit of defense for my infielders, my second baseman, my shortstop, but you don't want to neglect the bat as well. So you got to look for that player that kind of has the balance. And Mark DeRosa hit 280 in this tournament for me. So I go to the card shop and he currently is selling for $298. So a little bit more expensive. And don't be afraid to put in buy orders. If you're patient, don't just buy the highest priced one. Go in and put a buy order in of $199 or $225. And chances are within a day, if you have a fair buy order, someone will sell you that card for that price. So yeah, you can put in buy orders for cards that you're looking for. I've got Ryan Schimpf as my backup second baseman. So Ryan Schimpf didn't get in many games, only got in 2 games, hit 500. But again, he's got the eye and power. Eye and power. And he's got reasonable defense, especially as a backup. Dave Kingman is a meta iron. Just because it's a bronze tournament doesn't mean you need to play bronze cards. You can play iron cards. Look at that. Power and eye. First base, third base, DH. He's got some speed. So I use him at third base typically. And he's hit and miss. This tournament here, he only hit 143. Horrible. This was a horrible tournament for Dave Kingman. But there will be tournaments where he hits a lot higher. So if I go to my leaderboard here and I find another Dave Kingman, so the Fighting Lions have a Dave Kingman and he hit 286 with 2 home runs in 3 games. So there was a very effective Dave Kingman. So cards are going to be inconsistent, but you want to look at their performance over a period of 20, 30, 40, 50 games to get a good feel for them. Just because they have one bad tournament doesn't make them a bad card. If they have 10 bad tournaments, yeah, you might want to take them out of the lineup. Next, I have Woody Held. Great shortstop. I always look for defense and shortstop. I'm always willing to sacrifice in tournaments anyway. In tournaments, I'll sacrifice the bat for the defense. And this is one of the, if not the best shortstops for a bronze tournament. 97 range. Always ignore the top number, the 95. Look at the defensive ratings underneath, especially the range for outfielders and infielders. That's a key number. If they've got a 40 range, you don't want to use him. He's going to commit a lot of errors or not complete double plays if he's got low double plays. High range, the most important thing of those four characteristics, in my opinion. Herman Long, here's my other shortstop, 97 range. Didn't play in the tournament, but capable backup if he needs to go in. Paul Molitor, I have on the team. Paul Molitor, I've had success with him. Here's a case of not a lot of power or eye, but his BABIP is pretty high. So you can see he's hit a lot of singles and doubles. Look at that. He has a 5-game hitting streak. He hit 375 in the tournament. So I don't go for a full lineup of power and eye. Maybe 2/3 or maybe 60% power eye. And then I like to have some contact guys. Just not the big sluggers. You want guys that can get on base. And his defense is okay. Not the best, but it's okay. So Paul Molitor is a guy that I like to use on my team. Chris Davis, a great card last year in OOTP 23, and I've had success with him too. He's got the power. He's got the eye. He hit 381 in this tournament. He's okay in left field. You can use him as a DH. And yeah, another good card. Kurt Gibson, a lot of teams use Kurt Gibson. He's a backup for me. Doesn't have really any batting stats. He didn't get in many playing situations. Fielder Jones, if you want defense for a center fielder, look at that blue, 104 for his outfield range. Outfield range, more important than the other two. New players, you want range. Eye's really good. Power's not the greatest. Again, he's not my starter, but good in a defensive situation. One of the top 3 cards in bronze tournaments, you have to have this guy. If you want success, you got to get Gorman Thomas. And Gorman Thomas is on the card shop for 200 points. His price has come down quite a bit. It used to be 2,000 when the game came out. So get yourself a Gorman Thomas. And you can use him in the outfield, but I don't recommend it. Center field's not his greatest position. Better as a DH. So Gorman Thomas, I've got him in center field, but like I said, DH works probably even better. Rob Deere, one of my favorite cards from last year. Rob Deere. Look at that eye. Look at that power. He's a backup for me. He can play first base, left field, right field. I highly recommend you get Rob Deere. And Jimmy Wynn. Jimmy Wynn, power, eye, pretty good defense. Only hit 188, but again, it's one tournament. So there is the lineup and a little bit of the strategy that I use for my hitters. I've got Paul Molitor at DH, and I've got Dave Kingman at third base. Pitching-wise, here's where I might make a change. Look at this. I went the full distance in the tournament. I went right to the finals, and my number 4 and 5 pitcher did not play any game action. None. Not 1/3 of an inning. They didn't start a game. They weren't needed. because I have it on always start highest rested. I recommend you go with that setting. Always start highest rested. So by the time it got down to them to pitch, Carl Lundgren was rested up. He was ready to go. So that's where maybe you're wasting some opportunity. If they're good pitchers, you might want to go to a 4-man rotation and use Bob Gibson in a middle relief role. That way he'll get some game action. So I might have to go down to a 4-man rotation. If I look at all the other teams here quickly, 5-man rotation, they were knocked out early. Colorado, 5-man rotation, but look at their number 5 guy. He didn't pitch at all. So it was a wasted spot for Alex Cobb. Connecticut, again, knocked out early. The dark web hackers, knocked out early. The Durham Bulls, number 5 guy, didn't get a chance to pitch. So maybe a 4-man rotation might be a little bit better, because I have not come across any team where pitcher number 5 has pitched yet. Justin Thompson didn't pitch. The returners, same thing. Pacific Rain, nope. Springfield, how about you? Wow, they've got a 4-man rotation. Here's our first team with a 4-man rotation, and all 4 pitchers did see some game action. Vancouver didn't pitch, and Washington, same thing. So that's why I'm thinking I probably will go down to a 4-man rotation and use that extra guy in the bullpen. But right now I've got Carl Lundgren, great iron pitcher. Don't let the control fool you. I like to look at the home run and BABIP, pitcher BABIP. To me, I think it's important, but again, I'm not an expert. I might be wrong. Other people may think that this isn't important. I ignore movement and I look at these two right here and kind of take a peek at stuff. You don't want weak stuff and weak control. Mind you, if the stuff was really weak, this would probably be weaker too. So Carl Lundgren is a pitcher that sometimes you can't find him on the card shop. Right now he is 175. Go get him. Go get Carl Lundgren. I want to see someone buy Carl Lundgren and fulfill this buy order here or sell order. 175. Really good deal for your number 1 pitcher on your bronze tournaments. I'm watching. Does it sell? There it is. Now the lowest price is $333. So someone did go buy that Carl Lundgren. Lefty Lefield. Love that name. Lefty Lefield. He's popular. He's not on the card shop. No one's listing him. A couple people want to buy him. I like him in my lineup, that's for sure. Another good bronze card is this one here. Fred BB. None listed right now. Might be a popular card. But yeah, I would try and get him in your lineup. And my number 4 guy is Mr. Turley. Again, not very good control, but got pretty good BABIP. He's my number 4 guy. So if he doesn't pitch, I'm okay with that. I'm not completely sold on his statistics. So I've got him as the lowest part of my rotation. In the bullpen, get yourself a Loudermilk. Great guy to have in the bullpen. You might even want to start him. I don't start him because I don't like that low control. I'd rather have him in the bullpen. But you can find him in the card shop for 149, now 150 points. Again, new buy order. Couple people looking for him. I find this comical. Someone's willing to pay 149. Someone's willing to sell him for 150. Just buy him. Buy him for 150. It's 1 perfect point off. Yeah, so that one is available. Also in the bullpen, who else do we got? Crap. at that, low control. There's some common features with these successful pitchers. One of them is low control. So I like him. He only pitched in one game, gave up one hit. Find him in the card shop for 198. Some people use him as a starter. But notice that no live players, no live cards, historical cards. In your bronze tournaments, you want to go with the historical cards. Weldon Wyckoff, another guy I use, really good in terms of not giving up home runs, at least on paper. And in the card shop, he's expensive. This is one guy that you'd have to pay up for. His value has stayed pretty high. And there's only one listed right now. So if you have the perfect points, you might want to pick him up because often I don't see him listed on the card shop. And then a few others as well. Danny Cox, I like. Wilbur Wood. This Joe, 61 bronze. I like him as well. Now keep in mind, there are going to be tournaments where these guys have a 7 ERA. But on the whole, consistently playing them, they've worked for me. We go to the leaderboard and we look at the pitching leaders from the whole tournament, which again is a very small sample size. And you see some of those names. Lundgren, Beebe, we see Cox up here. We see another one that, might be popular. This guy here. Antonelli looks like he might be a decent choice. So you can get him in the card shop. Well, you can't because none are listed right now. But he's going for about 140. He would probably be one of the guys I would pick up if I see one of these other pitchers having a hard time. I would probably pick up Antonelli. So there you go. Let me check the chat. Haven't checked the chat recently here. Gorgo says he plays a 4-man. Oh, yeah. 2 different Gallo cards. Yes. I like this Gallo better. Where is he? Gallo. So I use the 66. I even didn't realize there were 2 different Gallos. So if we go to the card shop and Gallo. So there's the live Gallo, who again has really good power and really good eye. 109 versus 95. And this Gallo here, 110, 107. So it's a little bit higher on this card. Plus his defense, especially at first base, I think is a little bit better. So yeah, you can try them both out. But again, I've always been a fan of the historical cards for long term anyway. What else? Starter number 5 comes into play if you lose in the first, second, or third round, and then you make it to the finals. Okay, so because you get rest, if you advance, because I won my first game, I don't play my second game until 2 days later because the first game gets played here, and then you get a bye because you're waiting to see who advances over here. They kind of have to play off against each other. The losers have to play off against each other. So you may get the odd bye, and when you get those byes, those days off, your pitchers rest. So you can keep using pitchers 1, 2, and 3. So I went the full distance, 1, 2, 3, 4. I only played 6 games, but only 3 of my guys pitched because they had those off days of rest. I didn't need to use number 4 or 5. So what was mentioned in the chat is if you lose game 1, 2, or 3, if you lose first round, second round, or third round, that pitcher number 5 might come into play. Okay. Thanks, Bailey, for that. Market manipulation. Yeah, the good cards tend to go for a little bit more. So Gorgo started with the 65 and went to the 66. I think that's exactly what I did too, because I didn't realize there was a historical gallo. So I flipped over to him. The Hoosman also likes the 65 because of the versatility. Yes, good point. Gallo, let's go back there. The historical gallo can play first, third, or left field. The live gallo, first, left, center, or right field. And the ratings are pretty close. Yeah, pretty close. So if you want to give up a little bit in the ratings for a little bit more versatility, definitely can do that. So again, as a new player, get involved in tournaments. Get involved in the iron or in the bronze. Bronze are probably better because they fire off a lot quicker. You can enter more of them, but you have to wait. You can only enter one at a time, and they're often full, like this one is here. So you might have to wait another minute until it regenerates another bronze. I like to go to the bronze specific ones and then enter, and go to your tournament tab and pick one or two just to look at the results. You just randomly pick another one and see again on the leaderboards which players have done well, which have not done so well. Are any of you that are playing bronze tournaments, are any of you using that LE card? Who was that LE card? Rhodes. So I do own a Carl Rhodes. I don't know if he was in my lineup or not. He's expensive. New players, here's where you're paying a premium because there's only 100 of these cards out there. And someone's willing to pay $3,700 for him. He's bronze, so he would qualify for the bronze tournament. But I'm just curious if any of you guys are having success with this limited edition card. I mean, his stats are okay, but they're not overwhelming. Not to pay $7,000 for. He can only play a couple positions. Base running is good, but speed and stealing's not that great. So the Chicago Cubs limited edition Carl Rhodes. Wondering if anyone's having success. So let's go to the leaderboard. Look, we got Gorman Thomas, 5 home runs. Get that card if you don't have Gorman Thomas. Davey Lopes, power, eye. So he would fit kind of the two things that I look for, power and eye. He only hit 214, but he had 4 home runs. In terms of pitching leaders, the top strikeout guy was that Antonelli guy that I said I would consider getting. I might add him to my team. He looks pretty good. Who else do we got? War. Where's the pitcher War here? Right here. Antonelli was War leader too. So go get him. He'd be great to add to your bullpen or starter. For myself, how did I do in this tournament here? Let's go look at the tree here. Oh, Gorgo. Wow, this was not planned at all. I just randomly picked one. And Gorgo earlier was talking about winning tournaments. Here we go. Where's my team? My team should be somewhere on here. Don't know where it is. Rocky Mountain. Oh, there it is. So they won the first game, lost the second to the Stacko Cakes, moved over here, won a game, and then they lost. They lost in the quarterfinals. So I didn't even get to go up against the Finneytown Flames. So congratulations. There is a Gorgo win. We have proof. My pitchers, number 5 guy didn't get a chance to pitch. My number 4 guy, I wish he didn't get a chance to pitch. 20.25 ERA. But you're going to get that in these tournaments. Don't come back and say, Lap, I went in 3 tournaments with guys that you suggested, and I didn't win any packs. Welcome to the club. If you can win packs 1 out of every 8 tournaments, 7 tournaments, I'd say you're doing good. All right, let's check out the chat here. Yeah, absolutely. His price is based on scarcity for that Rhodes card. Yep, only 100 of them. So if you like to collect the unique cards, might want to get them. And Leona the Yordle. Welcome to the chat here, Leona. Rhodes doesn't really seem to do anything particularly well. Yeah, it's kind of my impression too. I mean, might be good as a utility guy, a backup guy, but not one you want to pay up for. That 90s guy covers. Welcome. I'm still learning the ropes of what actually has an effect in tournament. Again, in a nutshell, I like the home run and BABIP as best as you can to be as high as you can. I don't care about the control. And for hitters, I like power and eye. For me, that's what I look for. And again, it's done pretty well. I don't have the success of the Gorigo packs, but I've won a few along the way. But you have to keep spamming them. You have to keep entering them. So when you enter a tournament, as it loads up here, let's see if it's full again. Nope. Can sign in. There we go. Are any of you guys in 588? Doesn't look like I see any familiar names. But for the new players, once you set up your bronze team, make sure you export your team so that if something messes up along the way, you don't have to re-input everything again. It's really easy to do. Takes 15 seconds to do that. 90% of the time, you'll get this message. The default roster has been imported automatically. So I don't have to do anything. I can just click enter the tournament, and my team of 26 players should automatically come into play. My lineups should automatically be the same. My pitchers, the same. But you have to make sure you go to that bottom set of arrows down there on the right-hand side, go to roster export, and then call it something. Maybe you call it bronze April the 4th, and you save it. And that way, if your roster ever messes up and you come to your page and no players are over here, just go up to roster import. And yeah, I've got a lot saved. And click on the one that you want to import, and it'll bring those players back over. One word of caution, and this is something I wish OOTP would fix in a future gameplay, is the ability to lock players in. If I accidentally sold Gene Crap, if I sold him, he's not going to show up on my tournament roster anymore. So be careful when you're selling off your cards that you're not selling off the card that was part of your roster. If I have 4 of these cards here, I have to make sure I don't sell my active card. And again, really easy to do. You go down here, you go to manage cards, go up to other, select duplicates. That'll show all your duplicate cards that you have for bronze and for iron, the eligible cards. You can sell off the inactive ones. That's fine. But if it says active, which I don't have any right now, so if it says reserve or if it says active, you don't want to sell that one, because that's probably the one that's on your team. So be careful when you sell off cards. Same with live cards. Every month they recalibrate the live rating. And if you had a bronze 68 Verlander, and he went up to a 70, he's no longer eligible for the team because he's a 70 now, not a bronze. So he would be taken off your roster. So at the beginning of every month, if you have live players, always go back and check. Otherwise, you can just spam tournaments one after the other and hope you get those packs. CA 93, one thing on bronze tournaments, pitching home run and pitcher BABIP are both really important, but a low pitcher home run is devastating. Yes. And that's because a lot of teams use power and eye guys, right, as batters. So if you have all these Dave Kingmans and Joey Gallos and high power guys and a low home run pitcher, they're going to knock them out of the park on them. That's why you need those pitchers with high home run to kind of combat the Dave Kingmans, the Joey Gallos. Yeah, very good point. If you do it on your main, that active or reserve status just isn't there. Thanks for that, Gorgo. And New Zealand breaks. Yeah, I only sell dupe bronze cards from inside the tournament itself. Very good. That's why I wish New Zealand that they would have a little lock on it so I could go to my bronze tournament and just lock all 26 cards so that I don't accidentally sell it. Hopefully, we're going to see that feature sometime. All right. Thanks again for everyone for being here. A couple more shout outs. Sporer. I don't know if it's the Sporer, but Sporer, thank you so much. Not only for following today, but also for the Saturday April Fool's content release. My birthday was a pleasure. It was a nice birthday present to see the comical release of all those cards. I saw it posted in the Discord forum. They're giving me an opportunity to release my own set of cards. And I thought, good one, Sporer. April Fools. I know about April Fools. You just want everyone to click on the link to go to your channel and you're going to say, April Fools, there are no cards. But I was surprised. I clicked on it and I saw that you were actually releasing a Randy Johnson, Pete Rose, can't remember the other ones, but unique players that played on different teams. The only one you missed, Sporer, was Dave Stieb pitching 1 year with the Chicago White Sox. I'm a big Dave Stieb fan. I know you are too. And that would have been cool to have Dave Stieb as his 38-year-old or 36-year-old Chicago White Sox card. Not that I would have used it. You're doing INJ 588. INJ 588. Oh, okay. So we are both in the same bronze tournament there. All right. We'll keep an eye on that, Gorgo. I don't think it started yet. And let's spam another one. Also, too, if you accidentally enter the wrong tournament, you're not stuck there. I've seen this question before. If I accidentally enter the wrong one, so let's go and do that. Let's go to all tournaments. And I'm going to sign up for this one here. Entry fee, 1,000 perfect points. Oh, no. Oh, I accidentally entered the wrong tournament. Well, pretty easy. Go over to the green section here, click on the little plus sign, and click withdraw. There you go. Takes you out of the tournament. Very simple to do, but something I didn't know about last year. And I thought, oh, I'm stuck in this tournament. Got to wait till it finishes. And then I found out you can withdraw pretty easy, as long as you do it before it fills up. Thank you guys for tuning in. Laptop Hound signing out of the studios today. We'll see you Thursday with Hawk episode number 2. Tune in right after DishNet at noon. Tune in for some card evaluation on Thursday. Thanks, guys. Have a wonderful day, wonderful evening. We'll see you next episode.